creative friends, it's Gwen and I'm back today with another scrapbooking process video. Today's share is for Cut to You and it is part of the 25 days of Christmas scrapbook ideas that are happening on the blog. I will leave a link in the description box below so you can see more details on all of that's happening. I am going to be using the Hey Santa collection from Crate Paper and I'm going to scrapbook this photo of my daughter taken a few years back. The cut file that I'm using today is called Very Merry and I have gone ahead and cut it out quite a few times here, which I am showing you. You can also see my very old mats. They do get quite the workout. And this is actually the plan for the page. So I'm going to use the white design. So the Very Merrys I cut out 4 times on the white cardstock. And I'm going to use that as my template. I'm using the words in a repeated way to create a background or a base for my embellishments and my photos to lay onto. So the white pieces that you see here will not actually end up on the layout. I'm actually only using them as a template, as a guide. And what I'm going to do is position the pretty cut file, the one that I've cut in the lovely blue, and there's a really pretty peachy, it's red, but it's far more orangey than it is red. So I've cut 2 of the red ones out, 2 of the blue ones out, and I'm going to position them inside of that template. So that template is going to tell me exactly where they need to be on my layout. And I am going to then very, very lightly glue them down with some liquid adhesive, just the smallest little amount to keep them into position, because in a moment here, I will then lift up that template and remove that so that all that I'm left with is my background piece and then the cut files that I've added on top. Now, I will add here too that you don't have to do it this way. I could have simply just cut 2 of the red ones out and 2 of the blue ones out and then just positioned on my page. But I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do for this layout. So I actually used the cutting mat to help me design the page. I fiddled with it in Silhouette Studio until I had the alignment just right, and it did take a while. I know they look stacked, but I wasn't really sure what size or how much space it would take up. So it was actually really nice to have a little play within Silhouette Studio and nut that out. And then because I had done all of that work, I thought, you know what, let's just cut it out on white card. I can use it for something else anyway. And then I'll be able to use that as a bit of a guide for my layout and pulling it all together. Okay, so I was a bit time poor when I was making this layout. So I thought rather than manually backing the cut file the way that I normally would, I also wanted to use these inside pieces and I wanted the machine to do all the work for me. So I have saved those on the mats, and then when I've positioned them on my page, you can see that I have alternated them. So the blue insides are on the peachy coloured outsides, and then the peach insides are on the blue outsides. I've also added some of the white. You know how I did cut that on the white cardstock? I've saved the insides of the white pieces as well and added them in. They are all raised up on foam. And having done that, I guess it is faster. It is faster, but it still does take quite a bit of time to do that. I think it's worth it though, because it creates a bit of a different look to a backed cut file. And I love how this has sort of become not necessarily a title for the page, but more of a background repeated pattern and like I mentioned earlier, a bit of a base for me to build my embellishment clusters on and add my photo to. A little tip too, if you nut out where you want your photo to be, of course you don't have to position all those pieces behind your photo. So in the bottom very that is peach on the left there, only the V is done in that whole word because I know that my photo is going to go over the rest of it. So yeah, make sure you go in with a bit of a plan, and that will save you a little bit of time as well. So it's at this point that the bones for the layout are already locked into position. I really know where I'm going. I can now have some fun auditioning all of the elements from the collection. I haven't used this one before actually. I bought it on sale. I want to say I bought it either in January or February on sale last year, and I do tend to not scrapbook Christmas after Christmas, which is weird, I guess. I do all of my Christmas scrapbooking in November and December of the previous year, and then come January I'm kind of over Christmas a little bit and I'm ready to start with the new year. So often my Christmas photos have to wait a whole year before they're scrapbooked. Is that weird? Maybe it is. Let me know below if you scrapbook Christmas after Christmas. I'd love to know. So anyway, because it was a little bit unfamiliar, I did have a bit of trouble going through the collection. I had to do my usual little sweep through, exclude some of the things. Some of the things were just too large because I already had a lot going on. Some of the things didn't match the color tones as well as I would have liked. So I did go through and exclude some elements. And I'm kind of working on the idea that the photo will be on the left, and then on the right it will be balanced out by quite a few of the embellishments in a flow that runs sort of top to bottom on the page. I am going to add a little embellishment cluster in the top left hand corner of the photo as well to help balance things out. And I'm just really keen to just try and audition lots of different pieces and nestle them in together, put it together a little bit like a jigsaw puzzle. I will say that that was a little bit tricky because there are quite a few large embellishments in this collection. So that Christmas tree is about 3 inches tall. The angel above the tree is about the same. The little Christmas stamp with the Santa and reindeer, that's 3.5 inches wide. So when I had added those in, it was probably more tricky to find pieces that were medium sized that could fill out the clusters. There were a few little pieces like the little holly and the little leaf sprigs there, and I do add a couple of those to the layout. But to me, there seemed to be a bit of a gap in the collection between the larger embellishments and then the really small embellishments. So that was a bit tricky, but we got there in the end. I do feel like I got a nice balance in the embellishment clusters, and I am going to lock everything into position with a nice strong liquid adhesive. I have also added a flare button from Yes Please Paper Crafts, and I'm going to call the page done. Thank you so much for being here, my creative friends. If you like the way that I scrapbook or the way that I chat about the way that I scrapbook, I would love it if you give this video a thumbs up. Be sure to check the description box below for all the details of the Christmas scrapbook ideas that are happening for Cut to You. Loads of inspiration there. I'll leave you with close-up images, and I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, bye!